let's have a nice little chat about patience. What it is, how do we know if we have it, and just some things that I've learned along the way with my journey with patience. So, if you don't know me, if you've never seen me before, hi, my name is Kat Donovan, and my goal is basically to live a fulfilled and authentic life. And I like to bring people on my journey. So, with that, patience. I've been learning a lot about patience recently. And I think one of the things that I'm learning about it is what it's not. And what I perceive it not to be is anger and frustration. So that means that when I'm living my day-to-day life, I'm seeing where I start to feel angry and being like, all right, noted. That's a boundary that I haven't put in place. Because the thing about anger is that it specifically tells you where you're lacking boundaries, whether that be with yourself or with someone else. So I think that's actually the thing that has helped me become a more patient person in general, is understanding where I was lacking boundaries. So a great example is the car, road rage. I think a lot of people have this, and how do you get rid of it, right? So for me, I definitely used to have it. And over time, it's slowly gone away because I started to just realize, why am I angry at someone for moving slowly through life? What does that say about me? Where am I not putting boundaries in place? And a lot of the time, at first, it was like, all right, well, you're actually just not taking care of business and leaving on time, which means that you're late to everything. And that's a you problem. You need to give yourself more time. If you know that you're a dilly-dallyer, then either stop dilly-dallying or account for the dilly-dally, right? So those things were my first step, is understanding, where am I not taking care of things? But at the end of the day, when you are taking care of things, then you have nothing to worry about. So for example, one time I was going to yoga and I sat in 25 minutes worth of traffic. That place was 12 minutes away from me. So in no world would I have been in on time. I could have done everything right, but there is no way that I would have been leaving 30 to 40 minutes early for this yoga class. In no world. So I realized in that moment that I was getting angry and antsy. And yes, there's the concept that they could have very well just not let me in that class because I was 15 minutes late for it. But it's a place that I had gone repeatedly, and at the end of the day, like, if I wasn't meant to take that class, I wasn't meant to take that class. That's flow. It's understanding that things happen for a reason. Either it was supposed to teach me the lesson of, hey, you did what you could, and it didn't work out. That's okay. But it was also an indicator to me where I was like, if I couldn't control that circumstance, why would I be angry or frustrated in the car or anxious in the car about not being on time? Is it because I'm afraid of what the other person on the other side is going to be like? Are they going to try and shame me or guilt me or be mean to me about it? Like, was I afraid of hurting their feelings? Was I emotionally overgiving in that sense? And I feel like that's when it really clicked for me, as I was like, if I'm taking care of business, business is taken care of. That's the end of the story. The rest is the chips. Just let them fall where they may, right? So that was a huge thing for me in understanding patience and what it is and what it's not. And a place where I was like, this is a very easy boundary that I can put in place. This is something that I can easily fix for myself. Another thing about patience was dealing with my dog, right? He's a barker. When he wants something, he will bark at you. And it was understanding, all right, why am I impatient or why am I getting thrown off by him barking? And I think that was kind of one of those things where it's like, if you're taking on a child or a pet or something that is not fully, I don't know, cognitive, if you will, but it was a situation where you have to look at where you're spending your energy. Are you able to give presence to your pet whenever they're actually around. Because it's not about sitting with your dog for 5 hours to make them feel wanted. If you're not paying attention to them within those 5 hours, they don't care that you were there next to them, right? They want actual presence with you. They want to be talked to. They want to be pet. They want to be loved. Depending on your dog, each one's different. But it's the concept of fully being there when you're there. And 20 to 30 minutes is going to mean a lot more to them than 5 hours of sitting in the same room, not actually paying attention to them. So it was, okay, how can I take 30 minutes out of my day and not feel like I'm taking anything away from myself, and just make sure that I'm putting in the time and effort with them. But also, it's the concept of you train them. So where else am I overspending my energy to the point that I can't help to train them and help teach them in the things that they need help with? Whether it be on a walk. My dog loves to lunge at other dogs. It is what it is. But if you just keep allowing it to happen, it's going to keep happening. Instead of being like, okay, you're a very good boy. You're a very good boy. You don't need to bark. That's a very nice dog over there. You don't need to bark. You don't need to lunge. And taking them through like, hey, you're a good boy. You're a good boy. And actually working with them. And when they go and they do something that's actually the lunging or whatever, being able to sit them down, have them look at you and be like, no, we don't do that. And actually having the patience that anytime they misstep, that you're able to calmly say these things to them and redirect them into the path that they're supposed to be on, the path that you ideally would like for them. So I've just learned a lot about patience in that regard. And I've also found that the more that I'm connected with myself, mind, body, spirit, the better, the more patience I have. It's being able to breathe through a lot of situations. And I think anxiety can also fall into that category of what is not patience. Because I remember there was a time where I was in Bangkok. I had just flown into Bangkok and I was on my way to my hotel. And for whatever reason, we sat in the same exact spot on the top of some sort of like bridge highway thing. And I remembered I was fine for the first maybe 30 minutes. And then I started getting very, very antsy. I didn't feel like I was able to get out of, like I started to almost feel claustrophobic. It was like, all right, come on, we gotta go. And yes, I had a travel day, so I acknowledged that it was probably partly me being tired, but it was having to sit there, get away from my electronics. I was like, I'm absolutely not going on my phone, and we need to just sit and breathe. And the more that I was focused on my breathing and the more that I was focused on coming back into my body, I was like, I have patience now. I have the energy to wait for this. And it was all about creating that moment and that sanctuary for myself within the back of the Uber. Because that's the thing, that patience will allow you to withstand any situation. Patience is somewhat emotional regulation. It's the ability to calm your nervous system down in any situation. So that's kind of what I've found patience to be over the past 6 to 8 months. And I just think it's an interesting conversation because I don't think that's how I viewed patience. I think I viewed patience as like, I actually don't know what I viewed patience as, because I remembered a friend telling me that they thought I was a very patient person, and I realized, no, I'm actually just suppressing a lot of things, so I come off as patient, but I'm not actually patient. And I think that was also a trigger for me, was understanding that patience is not suppression. Patience doesn't mean that you invalidate your own emotions so that way you're not making someone else feel rushed. That's not what patience is. Patience is recognizing that someone else is on their own timeline and they're going to do whatever they want, whenever they want, and being okay with that. Not suppressing the thoughts that you have about it and just not articulating it to them, but truly being like, yeah, they're on their own path. I'm on mine. If we're meant to meet up again, if we're meant to do this again, it'll happen. And also understanding, like, one of my friends is very slow at getting ready. And it goes back to, okay, she was usually late for a lot of things, but it was, okay, that's, I can articulate, hey, can you please start earlier? Past that, again, it's circumstances. It's whatever's going to happen is going to happen. And if she starts earlier and we end up leaving on time, that's great. And if she chooses to do this and not start on time, then that is her own consequence if she gets left behind. Because you can still go at any point to make the reservation and be there on time. It's just allowing everyone to have their own options and realize none of this is with malice. There's different personalities. People are at different points in their life and at different points with different characteristics about themselves. And it's understanding that it's not offensive if you do something. It's not offensive to live in alignment in the same way that it's not offensive for them to live in alignment. And I think that is the greater lesson that I've learned about patience as well, is just patience is flow. Patience is allowing things to come and go as they please. So if this resonated with you, or if you have any other thoughts to add to what you've learned about patience, feel free to comment it below. As always, please like and subscribe. I would love to have you here. I love chatting with you. And if you're interested in more content, I do have a Patreon that's more of an artistic, raw, poetic kind of thing, but it still goes into a lot of lessons and a lot of thoughts that have been circulating in my brain for some time now. But yeah, it was lovely chatting, and all my love to you. Bye.